Do you ever notice how celebration can sneak up on you and somehow turn into self-sabotage? Like, it starts innocent. I've been doing so good for so long that I deserve this. I just want to enjoy the holiday. Or here's my personal favorite. It's a special occasion. One meal won't hurt. But sometimes one meal does hurt. Not only physically, but emotionally. Because, sorry, somebody was calling me. If you've ever been a food addict or just someone healing your relationship with food, you know the difference between celebrating and slipping. And that line, it's razor thin. So today I want to talk about what happens when celebration quietly becomes sabotage and how to catch it before it spirals. So here's how it used to go for me. I would hit a milestone, say lose 10 pounds or finish some sort of challenge I set for myself, even have just a great week. And my first thought would be, I deserve a treat. And honestly, it wasn't even about the food. It was about some sort of relief, like that deep exhale that says, I made it. So I would celebrate, usually with the very thing that once made me miserable. And that's where it would start, because celebrations turn into permissions, and permission would turn into excuses. And before I knew it, I was right back in the cycle I swore I would never return to. It wasn't sabotage that ruined me. It was self-reward disguised as self-care. If you've ever found yourself doing that, rewarding yourself with the thing you're trying to heal from, you are not alone. It's actually a brain thing. Our brains link reward with relief. So when you finally feel proud or accomplished, your brain says, hey, let's reinforce that with something that's always brought comfort. It's kind of like an emotional muscle memory. And it doesn't just happen with food. It can happen with shopping or scrolling or overcommitting. Anything that really numbs or soothes. But the truth is, that's not celebration. That's an emotional escape. Real celebration should ground you and not uncenter you. The biggest red flag that celebration is turning into sabotage is that phrase, I deserve it. I used to tell myself that constantly. I deserve the cake. I deserve a break. I deserve to not think about food for once. But what I really deserved was peace. And peace doesn't come from sugar or salt or saying yes to every single thing. It comes from boundaries. And here's the thing. Boundaries don't limit joy. They protect it. That's something I wish I had known years ago. Because every time I celebrated by crossing my boundaries, I was not rewarding myself. I was erasing my progress. So, let's talk about how to catch it before it spirals. Because the earlier you notice the signs, the easier it is to stop. And here's what I look for. Justification thoughts. It's fine. It's just one. I've been so good lately. It's the holidays, it doesn't count. Those aren't harmless thoughts. They are the warning whispers before the binge. Emotional bargaining. If you are trying to convince yourself it's okay, it is probably not aligned. True celebration doesn't need to debate. It feels very peaceful. And secretive behavior. You know when you start thinking, I'll just eat this now and no one will ever know? Yeah, that's not celebration. That's shame wearing a Santa hat. When celebration feels rushed or hidden or anxious, that is sabotage in disguise. What helped break me free was redefining what celebration meant. I used to think celebration had to include food. Now it's about feeling proud without needing to numb out on food. My celebrations look like buying new clothes because I feel strong, not because I earned them. Taking a long walk in the sunshine after hitting a goal. calling a friend and sharing my win, journaling gratitude instead of reaching for that sugar. And the wild thing, those moments feel better. They last longer because they build confidence instead of guilt. Your brain starts to link celebration with connection and not consumption. And that, my friends, is a very real shift. So let's go a layer deeper. Because the truth is, most self-sabotage isn't about food at all. It's about emotions that we don't want to feel. And sometimes celebration becomes a socially acceptable excuse just to check out. Like, it's Christmas. I'm just going to enjoy myself. Translation: I don't want to feel deprived, so I'm just going to numb out for a few days and deal with it later. Or, it's my birthday, calories don't count. Translation: I want permission to ignore my boundaries for a bit. But when you look closely, those celebrations often come from avoidance and not joy. So now I do a very quick emotional check-in before any event. So I am celebrating from confidence or exhaustion. Which one? Am I seeking connection or comfort? Which one is it? Do I want the moment or do I want to escape the moment? That 1 minute of honesty really does change things. Because for the longest time, I thought boundaries were some sort of punishment. Like saying no to certain foods or habits meant I was restricting my joy. Now I see boundaries as a protection. They're how I say I love you to myself in advance. Because here's the truth. Self-love isn't always soft. Sometimes it is tough. Sometimes it's saying no. We're not going down that road again. We have worked too hard to lose our progress. The most powerful form of self-care is prevention. And when you start seeing boundaries as safety and not limitations, celebration really stops being a threat. You get to enjoy the moment without losing yourself in it. So this year I built a little holiday safety net for myself. And don't you love all these little cute names I give all these things? Anyway, I call it my 3C rule. Celebrate, check in, and continue. So 1, you're going to celebrate. When I hit a win, even a small one, I do acknowledge it. I smile, I breathe, and I feel very proud. Number 2, I check in. I pause before reacting. Am I about to celebrate in a way that aligns with my goals or that's going to undermine them? Number 3, continue. Whatever I choose, I do not let it spiral. If it's an indulgence, I enjoy it mindfully and then I just move on. If it's an act of self-care, I like to really build on that. And I personally do not choose to do indulgence to celebrate anything anymore. This really keeps me out of that old on-track, off-track cycle because I'm just living in rhythm now. A few weeks ago, I had one of those moments where I almost fell back into it. I hit a big milestone and my first thought was, kind of like an instant reflex, was I should celebrate with my favorite treat. The old me would have followed right through. However, the new me paused and I asked, what am I actually celebrating right now? The progress or the permission? And that stopped me because the progress was the celebration. So instead I went for a walk. I listened to music and I reflected on how far I have come. And for the first time, that celebration did not end in guilt. It ended in a gratitude. And if you've been struggling with this, then you know there is a fine line between celebration and sabotage. So start small. Do these 3 things this week. Pick one way to celebrate without food. Something that still feels like rewarding. So a new outfit, a night of self-care, or just journaling. So catch the I deserve it moments. When that thought shows up, ask, what do I actually deserve right now? Temporary comfort or long-term peace? Set one boundary in advance. Maybe it's deciding not to take leftovers home. Maybe it's saying no to dessert. Maybe it's logging off social media when pressure starts feeling heavy. One act of awareness is stronger than 100 acts of willpower. 2 years ago, I couldn't tell the difference between celebration and sabotage. Now I can. And that doesn't mean I never slip. It means I noticed that slip sooner. Because healing isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. And awareness gives you a choice. And choice gives you freedom. So this season, celebrate boldly. But celebrate consciously. Don't let those old habits disguise themselves as self-love. You don't have to earn your joy, but you do have to protect it. And if this resonated with you, if you have ever celebrated yourself right back into a setback, I totally get it. And if you want to learn how to build systems and boundaries that support your peace, I would love for you to join our little community. We're walking through the holidays and after together with structure, support, and a whole lot of grace. I'm going to put the link for you to join us in the description because celebration should lift you up and not weigh you down. And until our next conversation, stay kind to yourself, eat like you love yourself, and keep going. You are doing better than you think. Bye for now.